Who's aware of these alternative tests for the communication literacy? Who's aware of those? Give me a thumbs up if you've seen this before. Who's not aware? Who's like, never seen it? I did not know. So this is so I think this is, I'm gonna put my commentary. This is my opinion. These were dropped in the middle of October. They were announced in the summer, and then they were all posted on Pearson in the middle of October. And it was my impression, because we're constantly looking at this site, it was done very fast. Meaning, usually they announce these things 6 months out. 6 months out, they're gonna post a new exam. It's a big deal. You have to wait a long time. Okay, but these were kind of just all dropped. And there's supposed to be alternative tests that you can do. You can do this one, CASA, the MoGEA, the Essential Skills Exam, or the WESB. Okay, these are different options that you can do now instead of the communication literacy. I'm going to talk about them right now, but I want to be clear. I'm going to be saying, this is my position on this, that this is still the best exam to take, okay, if you're in Massachusetts. But I'll try and prove my point. I want you to know that these are out there, all right? And I'll talk through them, okay? Okay, yes. First, let's talk about one difference between these. Who's taking the communication literacy? Who's taking communication literacy? That's the MTEL. Who's doing this one right here? Now, all these exams, reading exams, they're going to cover the same skills. So in terms of skills, like identifying the main idea, identifying vocabulary, all that stuff is going to be the same. You don't change those basic things. But I'm going to point out some differences. One is on the communication literacy, and for both the reading and the writing, you have about, if you take it on site in a test center, you have 4 hours. If you do it from home, you only have 3 hours. Can everyone see that? Who's taking it on site? Who's going to a test center? Who's doing the test center? So if you go to the test center, right, you have the full 4 hours. Who's ever had issues with pacing? Who's had issues with pacing? You mean you have a difficult time finishing the passages. So if your issue is pace, this is a 4-hour pace. If you do it from home, who's doing it from home? Anyone doing it from home online? If you do it from home online, you've got to go faster. If you do it from home online, you have 3 hours to test. That's a little harder. You have a much faster pace, right? Now, with that in mind, so this is at home. Testing at home is 3 hours. Testing on the site is 4 hours, okay? With that in mind, that's the communication literacy. Now, these other exams, the NES, look at this. You have what? A quarter of the time or a third of the time? That's you have to go. Another way of thinking about this is you have to go, I'll write down for reading. Let's just focus on the reading. Reading, you have to go 3 or 4 times as faster. Does everyone see that? So if pace is an issue for you, you're not going to want to do it 3 or 4 times as fast. Do you agree? These ones here are like 3 times as fast. So I just would caution you on, for that reason alone, the NES, CASA, the MoGEA might not be a test for you. Team, do you understand? I know these are different exams, but the pacing issue alone, if that's a thing for you, if that's real, if you're telling me now you have a hard time with 4 hours or 3 hours, how are you going to do with 1 hour or 75 minutes? So just keep that in mind. If you explore these other exams, just factor in, hey, I'm going to have to go 3 times as fast. The WESB, or I'll call it Westminster, the WESB is a little bit more manageable. It's 2 hours, right? But still, you know, you just have to go twice as fast. That's all. So that's the closest one in terms of pacing for reading. It's twice as fast. Now, I'd like to recommend with teachers, I always think that you should do, if you're here for reading, you should just have the reading test, just do reading only. And you have the full 3 to 4 hours. Is that right? So everyone should be taking just one test at a time. Don't do 2 at a time. Don't make that mistake of doing the reading and writing at the same time. Do them separately. Full 4 hours for reading, full 4 hours for writing, okay? And in that way there, you will have, you know, for this reading here, you'll have to go twice as fast, okay? If you combine these exams, you do the reading and writing at the same time, that never works. It only works for a few teachers. Let me look at these comments here. Okay, Beth, you agree with me on splitting it now? Heidi, you want to change it, right? Change it. You want the full 3 to 4 hours. Change it, Jamie. Call up, change it, go online, change it, separate the exams, okay? Because if you do them both at the same time, if you do them both at the same time, then essentially you have to go twice as fast. Okay, so separate them. Have 3 to 4 hours on the reading, and if you're doing the writing, separate this. Another exam, you have 3 to 4 hours on the writing. And if pacing is your issue, then I think it makes sense to do communication literacy, because these are all really, really much faster. This one too is, you know, it's twice as fast. Yes, you can change it. Yes, you can. You can change it. You can separate them. You might have to call in, but you can do it. You can do it online. Yes, you can change it from online. Team, have I made my point on the pacing? Why you might want to do this one because of pacing? Okay. Now, to be fair, let's talk about why you might want to do some of the others. Let's talk about cost. If this was an issue for you, look at the pricing here, okay? Look at the pricing. These are about the same, but these are a lot less, right? So if you were concerned about money, okay, you might want to, the reason why they put these out there is because they wanted to give the impression of providing alternative strategies that would save you money, okay? Now, I think that's great that they did that if the exams were equal. But these exams, unfortunately, are not equal. The MO, I have nothing wrong with the MO. We're going to do a case study on the MO today. And I think what I'm going to try and do is show you the MO is just as hard. Even though it's $25, it's just as hard as this one right here. So you have to decide, are you going to do something just as hard and have 75 minutes or 240 minutes? I think those are I don't think that's a hard decision. You save money here, but here you've got what, 3 or 4 times as much time to do it? I think most teachers will be like, I need that more time. Okay? I'm looking at comments. Hit cancel. Yes, it's more money. Okay. Hello, Elsa. Okay, got it. Okay. Who hears me, team? Right? So you do save money, but you get a third of the time. You do pay more money, but you got 3 times as much time. So just be aware of that, okay? They threw all this stuff out there very quickly. And they threw that out there so that teachers would see that there was a price difference. But if you look a little bit closer, you kind of see that they're not equivalent exams, okay? They're different exams from different states that were just lumped into Massachusetts over the pandemic very quickly overnight. No announcement. So, I mean, they said that they were going to do this, but I felt like it was a little rushed. So anyways, there are other options other than the one that we're going to be focusing on today. Everything that we do today is going to be doing reading skills that you could use for all these exams. Just know that the difference is the communication literacy gives you a lot more time to do the reading section. Okay.